Happy Friday and welcome to Our Truth, Your Truth, Someone's Truth. I'm Tammy Harleb, aka Royman, and I am here with my amazing co-host who gives me a check to say that, Christopher Blakesley.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to see you on Friday.
It's
you keep dumping off on the morning meditation, so you keep making some excuse about court. I don't know.
It's supply and demand.
It's supply and
I'm
demand.
making sure that I'm a little scarce so that you appreciate me.
Yeah, I totally appreciate you. And are we still being brought to the air by ourselves?
To the whole world, we're brought to you by LBC Law Group, as well as
Danny's Dynamics, where we do individual and group hypnotherapy that helps you change from the inside out.
Awesome. And you can see our contact information up there on the screen. Please reach out if you have any questions. We'd love to inform you a little bit more about us.
Amazing. So today we have decided to have an amazing human being on our show, Asher Bromberg. He is a Peruvian Jew that spent most of his youth in Venezuela, where he attended high school and graduated from the University of Metropolitan in Caracas, Venezuela. He obtained a degree in business administration in 1997. I think you just gave your age away. His father wanted for him to enroll in a master's degree program, but he asked for a sabbatical year so that he could learn in the yeshiva, which is a Jewish house of study, for a year, and then continue with his master's degree. Well, that year, he decided that he would spend a year in Israel, 3 years in Morristown, New Jersey, and after marriage, he spent another year in Kollel Study Institution for Married Jewish Men before moving back to Venezuela, where he helped the Jewish community, dedicating himself most of the time to youth and education in regards to adults, and working on the family business. Since 5 years old, he has been exposed and attracted to alternative methodologies and medicines, but it was not until he got married that he realized that he was able to help people by using the energy in his hands. And since then, he has studied and focused in methodologies like EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, the emotional code, body talk, and even Kabbalistic healing modalities based in the millenary Torah tradition of healing. He has also studied coaching and presents Biopolis, which is really an effective and transformative coaching methodology from Spain, and lately has become a certified Maxi Mind practitioner. That is a unique methodology born in Canada that has changed the lives of plenty of children, youth, and even adults that have been diagnosed with ADHD, OCD, lack of focus, and some other forms of mental health difficulties. He currently lives in Florida with his wife and family and dedicates his time to helping people in any way that he can, either with healing, life coaching, spiritual coaching, Torah teaching for non-Jewish people that want and are interested in converting to Orthodox Judaism, and motivating and inspiring and guiding people to find their own internal light and shine to illuminate this amazing world and live a spiritual life filled with goodness and kindness. He loves sports, poetry, Torah, mysticism, Jewish and Peruvian food, and is passionate about energy and emotional healing for all people. He's motivated and inspiration comes from teachings of the Rebbe, Mendel Schneerson, known as the Lubavitcher Rabbi, and his moral values and love for others. He attributes them to the Rabbi and to his father Isaac, who is a beloved hero in his eyes. He believes that the fact that he has to face death of his pregnant mother when he was 5 years old and had to go through many years of suffering and loneliness without his mother's love gave him a special sensibility and understanding of the pain that people go through and suffering that allowed him to be able to help sincerely from the deep place of true love and respect for all human beings. Welcome to the show, Asher. We are so excited and grateful that you have decided to come and spend your time with us and, help us bring more peace into the world.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Chris. It's a
Asher.
pleasure to be here. It's an honor, big honor for me to be here.
Hey, thank you so much. It's so good to see your face. It's been a little while since I've been able to do that, so it's so nice to have you on today.
Thank you for having me.
How's Florida right now?
Well, it's weather is beautiful.
Okay.
It's fresh in the 80s.
Well, good.
So it's really good.
Good. It sounds like here we're loving it. It's finally past the near death heat, and so we're having a great time out here, and we're grateful that you're going to join us from across the country. And we both Tammy and I really respect you so much, and we've learned a lot from you. At least I have. I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure Tammy would agree.
If I have to admit it, I'll admit it.
And we wanted to have you on today for several reasons. Number one, your background, as Tammy just listed. We both consider you a very powerful healer, spiritual man, with a lot of background and some of the modalities that we're excited to share with the public. But also currently, right now, the world is in such a state of flux. And it's in, for me personally, I'll speak for myself, a very terrifying place. And what we wanted to do today was chat with you about some of the ways that we might be able to, without getting political and without necessarily taking sides on any particular issue, but maybe how we can teach each other and help each other to spread some positivity in a time where it feels like there isn't much of it. And so we're really excited to chat with you about your experience as an Orthodox Jew, as a man who emigrated from Peru, growing up in Venezuela. I mean, you have such a wealth of experience. And so we really want to chat with you today about quite a few things, but many of them being sensitive. And we're looking forward to some of the lessons you can help us learn about remaining positive and spreading that positivity in this world as we see it right now.
Yep, I agree. Thank you so much, Asher. So, I mean, if we look at you, you're a human being like everybody else, and you just choose to practice something that not everybody practices, and that's okay. That's what it is to be a human being, is to, know that I am individual and yet I am the same as everybody else. And I think a lot of people don't understand Judaism and its foundation and, how, people, no matter where they come from, no matter what they practice, all have an amazing contribution to the world in which we live in. So I'm going to ask you if you could just briefly, give a little bit of a synopsis of, what is Judaism? Because I also know that you haven't always been Orthodox. That was a choice that you walked into.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity once again. So, yes, I was not raised Orthodox. I'm a Jew. I was born a Jew. My family, I descend from Holocaust survivors also. So I was always in the Jewish faith, let's say, but not practicing. So what is Judaism on my eyes? Judaism, it's not a religion. It's a way of living, and it's a way that we become partners of God in creation. The Torah, our base, the basic book, you may call it the Bible, has a lot of lessons, a lot of deepness, and teaches us that man is the purpose of creation. And God created the whole world for man to be in the world and to represent God and to imitate God in this world. And therefore, he placed the man being the image of God in a physical body with all the godly attributes, emotions, mental attributes, physical attributes, but represented in a person. So when we're here in the world, Judaism is not the only way to serve God at all. It's just a way to bring light into the world and serve God as He wants the human being to serve Him. And what's to serve God is no different than to love the human being, to love each other, to love His creation. That is loving God also.
Right.
So Judaism is the way that I do this.
Right. Where other religions have the same exact foundation, because I've studied a little here and there, and it's just different modalities on how you're actually doing it. It's like being in the healing arts, right? One modality will work for one person and another modality may not. So they find out which is the modality that works best for them. And this is just like that. It's a modality just like that. Would you agree?
I agree in certain point, but at the same time, if you go to the history of the world, Chris said not getting into political. I'm not going to get into political, but I have to go back to the story, to the beginning. So God created the world. It was Adam and Eve, and then 1,000 years after came the flood. We had Noah and the ark. Everyone was saved. So those two stages of the world, they were really special stages. One was the beginning, and the second stage of Noah's ark, the flood, was the new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So in that new beginning, it's where we really understand what's humanity. The Torah says, Bible says, that at that moment God gave Noah a 7 law. He gave before to Adam 6 universal laws, and now he's giving a 7 law. So those became the universal laws. Then Torah says that after a few generations, Abraham was born. Abraham was the first Jew. And then his descendants went to Egypt they became slaves in Egypt, and then God took them out of Egypt, and they received what they call the Torah. In that moment, when the Jewish people received the Torah, in that moment the Jewish people received a different mission than the rest of the world. We're not better, we're not worse, we have one mission.
Right.
And that's the eternal mission of the Jewish people. And it's to bring not only light into my life, but to bring light into the world, to teach the nations, what is to bring light, what is darkness, what is light, what's to act godly. And not that because you have to become a Jew at all. Everyone finds his own path. But we have a different mission. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that will disagree with you, Tammy. Right. It's not a choice. I don't have a choice. Well, when my soul came down, I could not choose a mission.
Right.
I had a mission from before. I can choose how to do it,
right.
or not
do it. Right. Right. And I mean, I think that we probably all see it that way in whatever background in terms of religion or spirituality that we come from. Does anybody that wants to practice Judaism, do they have to be Jewish? Can they move into, they say, I see that I can spread my light in the ways that I see other people that are Jewish or whatever religion. But in Judaism specifically, can anybody convert to be Jewish? Or does it only go through the bloodlines?
Okay. Okay. So to be Jewish, you either have to be born Jewish, or you can convert 100%.
And
But at the same time, if you see the history, Jewish people never went to force someone to convert, never asked someone to convert. That comes from the inside.
Right.
Yes. So people, you can become a Jew 100%. Do you need to become a Jew at all?
Yeah.
Can you do things? Can you learn? Can you live your life with that perspective, with that mission?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
That's,
There's,
go ahead.
we have to make a difference on what's, I want to do it and I have to do it. Okay? There's something I want to do and something I'm obligated to do. When you can choose what to do, you can choose to do goodness, 100%. And you can even live your life like that. But let's say it's not a choice. You're obligated to do it.
Right.
Okay?
I mean,
So,
aren't we all obligated to be kind and loving and peaceful human beings, no matter
100%. Those
what
are
background
what we
we
call
come
the
from?
seven. Those are what we call, Tammy, the seven universal laws. Okay, of Noahide laws, and all that society is found in, it's those seven laws.
Yeah. I'm glad that you bring up Noah because it's interesting that animals of different species have no problem getting along. We'll see, a lion that will adopt a little deer, and we wonder, that lion eats that deer, but it has become the mother of that deer. And these are incredible things. And I think, we should see ourselves like that. We all have different bodies and different bloodlines and different beliefs, but in the core of it, we are all completely the same. Because, Asher, don't you work?
I do work, yes, a lot.
You support your family?
Yes,
Yeah? You have all the same organs in the body that I or Christopher has. I mean, more Christopher, but
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah,
get the
okay.
idea, right? I mean, when you cut yourself, it's red blood that comes out just like anybody else, right?
100%.
Right? You have the
100%.
same struggles in the
Yes.
emotional domain and just the struggles of being just a human being on this earth, trying to live as peacefully as you can. Is that right?
100%. Tammy.
Keeping yourself and your family, completely
Respecting
safe
each other.
and provided for and supporting each other, right?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
I mean, I see that as what we are as human beings. We're all on this amazing journey called life. And life is complicated by our thinking, by our emotions, by our own growths that are pushing us forward and sometimes in very uncomfortable ways. And I think, it's a shame that any group of people, I don't care what you practice, what your skin color is, what socioeconomics you come from, that we have to be afraid to live in our own country, in our own world. So we're not going to get politically, but I just want to know, in your community, you're anything other than that, because I've watched you work. I have done some work with you. Truly a powerful, amazing healer that can benefit and will being Jewish people as somebody different than themselves instead of somebody that just sees life a little bit differently and practices, their beliefs a little bit differently.
Emotionally, and also we have problems of security. We have been involved in a situation that whatever happened in Israel. Okay, I'm not going to go into details, but that in a place where we see a lot of darkness, and when you're in darkness, when you're afraid, and you try to see light. There's no light. You don't know where to go. So we're kind of lost, and that's physically, but that's also mentally, emotionally. So we're in a moment where there's a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
So are we worried? We're worried, yes. Do we have fear? That's something yes, there's a lot of people that have fear, but not only Jewish people. Many people in the world, Jewish, Christians, Muslim, there's fear around.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? What's going to be?
Right.
What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my children, to my family?
Right.
We're all planning to live until, as we said, until 120 years, a good life. And that's what we want for our kids and for everyone. But now the world, it's facing the question, is that going to happen? What's going to happen in 1 year, 2 years, 10 years? What's going to happen with life?
Right. What's going to happen in the next, 3 minutes? We
Yes,
don't
100%.
know. I mean,
We don't know.
you know
So
you know my perspective on life, so I'm hoping that what's going on wakes up the world and says, as a human race, we need to stop treating our fellow man like this, no matter what. How do we come together and show love and compassion and understanding and support and encouragement for another human being, regardless of anything else?
okay, so that's a general answer. But for this moment, I think one of the main things we have to have in mind, you can be afraid, but terror nurtures himself from your fears.
Right.
And that weapon called terror, it's even worse than a gun.
I agree.
So what they want, the darkness wants terror in the world. So how can you lower his effect? By trusting. What do you have to trust? So here we have a religious person. I trust in God. I trust that the Jewish people have been around for a long, not only centuries, but millenniums.
Right.
And enemies have come and gone. And we have been here.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to be here, but I know the Jewish people will be here.
Yeah.
And as long as they're Jewish people, there's going to be whatever is good for them is good for the world. They're going to do good for the world. So I know the world is going to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not afraid of what's going to happen to the whole thing in the future. I may be afraid of what's going to happen to me and my family,
right.
but
Right.
but I fear God, and I know He has a plan, and I know light when appears, darkness just vanishes. Have to bring more light into the world, and darkness is going to vanish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and if you don't mind my jumping in, I want to ask maybe a few specifics about that. You mentioned bringing light into this world. What are some of the ways that you're doing that? And as Temi mentioned, not necessarily as a leader, but as a father, right? With your young
husband.
children, a husband, a friend to me, because I was raised Christian. I don't have children. I don't have family members or loved ones in Israel, but I'm fearful, right? I'm fearful for the world and for the people I don't know that are being hurt by this. How do you spread that light to the people in your closest circle, and how can we start to do that with the people that we love and we see often?
Okay, thanks for your question. So, terror celebrates death. Light celebrates life. So how do I do that? So by you being a happier person, by you going out and just change the life of a person that you see in the street, it's worried, and you just go, give him a smile. Give something. Someone needs a coin. I never, sometimes I'm in a rush. these last 3 weeks, whenever I see a poor person, sometimes I don't have money, but I have my lunch. I give it to them. I give my water. I try to bring light somehow, a smile to someone. That's an easy way to do. Easier way to do it. Call your parents. You haven't talked to them for a while. Call them. Try to make peace with someone. Try to make peace with your own self. Okay, and develop love for someone else. Even the logic says no. You can't love this person. It's not right. Just try to understand. Put yourself in a position. That's an easy way to bring light into your own darkness and in the darkness of someone else. But then you have specifics. So nowadays, a lot of Jews, what we have done, we have given from our own time that we don't have to go and help. How will we help? We go and help to collect. It's needed, okay, to send food, yeah, clothing. We collect, we help, we donate for Jews and non-Jews. We don't make a difference on that, okay. So that's one thing. Would give it your time for a good purpose. Charity. Look for justice in the world. Open yourself to realize that you have to take a position in good and bad. In that moment that you take the position and you say, I have to defend what I really believe to be the truth, to be goodness, not for me only, but for the whole world. And you stand for it because it's going to be obvious. So that it's also a channel how to bring light into the world. Go visit the sick person. Okay? For us, it's also dedicate yourself to pray, to study Torah, to become a better person. So those are ways we can bring light.
And I mean, would you not agree that no matter what religion you practice, no matter what form of spirituality you do, no matter what color the skin on your body is, there are people that are kind and unkind across the board?
100%, Tammy.
Yeah,
100%. You can love apples.
right.
Yeah, I love apples, but sometimes the apples are rotten.
Right,
It's the family of apples are good. No, this one it's rotten.
right. And that's where
So
you
he's
go to nurture. You go to
perfect.
nurture the hurt apple, right? And go to pull the fresher apples together and say, listen, we have this hurt apple. You know, we as a community, as a people, what can we do to help this hurt apple come forward in their own being, right? To understand how powerful it is to come in the group of us loving apples.
Okay, so we're not apples, we're humans.
Yes,
So
I
where
get
all
that.
this
I was
starts?
using apples.
How
I
do
don't
you,
know
how do you
how
fix?
apples came to my
Yeah,
mind, but
how do no? I know, but how do you fix this? How do you fix a rotten apple? There's many ways. Either you throw it to the garbage, yeah, or you leave it there and you show everyone this is a rotten apple. You want to become a rotten apple, or you can educate. Education is the main thing here. Education starts with how do you build up a person to become a person
yeah,
through
exactly.
education.
Yeah,
And education, it's not about politics. It's not about what I want, how to transform things, how to manage people, how to brainwash. No, it's about loving. It's about giving yourself. It's about making someone grow, become
yeah,
a better human being.
right.
That's education. So we have to start from there. And here, I know there's a lot of people that either don't believe in God or don't care, or God is not part of their life.
Right.
But the only problem we have I believe, is that if we think we have the truth, and my truth is the only truth, so that's beautiful, but someone else has his own truth. If I don't see that he also can has his own truth, it will come into a fight, because I want to prove that I am right and you're wrong. And something goes further. You cannot live, because if you're alive, my truth is not truth. So I have to take
Right.
you out of the picture.
Right. Right.
And that's not right.
Yeah.
The only truth is the universal truth. For us, universal truth is the creator. You want to call it the universe? You want to call it God? But there's a creator, however you want to call it. And he has the truth, the initial truth. So we have to understand this, and that to teach our kids about that. There's a creator, and there's truth that's beyond what I need, what I think, what I believe, and what I want. Truth cannot be manipulated, cannot be changed. With that principle, we can educate our children, and we can educate the generation.
Yeah.
And, you know, you talked a lot about truth, and obviously that's kind of the name of our show. And I love that you kind of emphasize that there are different, that there's a singular truth, and it exists outside of us, and it cannot be changed, but that my truth might be different than yours. But I think it's more important than just knowing your truth, but actually living it, which I think is what you were describing in spreading that love. And you didn't say donate to a Jewish cause or go visit a sick Christian person. It was just go visit a sick person, right? Donate to people. But my question is, I understand that and I have my own answer to this, it's somewhat of a rhetorical one, but I want to hear your view on it. I know that by me going to visit somebody that's sick, or calling my parents, or being kind to somebody and smiling when I walk past them in the grocery store, I know that can change their single day. But do you think that those acts maybe can be a catalyst to spread that joy and that positivity even beyond just that individual person that we're working with? Like, can this small act become a much larger thing for the world?
Okay, so Kabbalistically, the way we describe soul is through fire, light and fire. There's many reasons why, but if you see the fire, the characteristic of fire, what happens when you have small fire and then next to it you have a bigger fire? What's going to happen? Are they going to separate? Or the small fire wants to be attached to a higher fire, to a bigger fire? So there's a nature of fire that it's contagious, let's say, okay? Makes a reaction. It's attracting. That's one thing of fire. Second thing of fire is that we see it's spiritual. You're untouchable, you can be burned by it. But at the same time, look at fire. Fire is never, ever static. It's always in the move. And then sometimes it moves a lot. Sometimes stays for a while, moves, goes down, goes down. So the mystical view on that is that that's a soul. Soul is never static. Angels are static. Angels, they cannot move where they are. They can become better or worse. We can do that. We can do that. So that's why we're always in a move. And you see Jews praying, you will see the deepest prayer, that we're standing quiet, mostly with the eyes closed, we're moving. There's a movement. And it's not because I'm forcing, it's the soul expressing itself. Okay? So why do we move by the fire moves? It's trying always to go above. The source, mystical source of fire is above. tries to go, the more power he feels, the more he wants to go above. And you have fire and you take a sheet, you put it doesn't touch the fire, but it's going to be burned. Fire is going to jump to go above. So once we light a small fire in someone, and he starts growing the fire, and there's another person with a sparkle, and another one, and someone with fire. It's gonna get together, and they're gonna elevate themselves more and more and more and more, and there's gonna be an effect in the whole world for sure. You can change not one people's life, you can change the whole world's life.
I love the way he describes it.
Yeah.
Asher, you have a way with words and of painting a picture for not just me, but for all the listeners and viewers. So thank you for that. And I feel the same, and I suspected that you did as well. And I think it's important to know or be aware of our choice, that we can contribute to the darkness or we can contribute to the light. And I think what you're describing, Asher, is contributing to that light, and our small flame can become larger.
Yeah.
As it spreads to Tammy and to Asher and everybody else. And it
To
gives me a little
Rory,
bit of
to
hope.
Aaron. Yeah. It brings me a lot of hope. I mean, I'm very hopeful for the world. I think sometimes things have to fall apart before they fall together. And I fully give myself over to a universal source, a universal God, whatever we want to call it. And I've kind of been really forced to do that the last couple of years with my own life and my own situation, to learn to live fully in what I actually believe. And, in terms of that, it's whatever the will of the universal God wants it to be. And I just have to get out of my own way and allow that energy to flow through me to, impact my own life more peacefully, but also people's lives around me more peacefully, and anybody that knows me knows that I have been very passionate about helping people. And it doesn't matter to me what religion you follow, what color your skin is, what socioeconomics you come from. I don't care. If you need help and I can help you, you can be guaranteed wholeheartedly that I will do that for you because I want to. And anybody that knows me knows that my cell phone number is open 24 hours a day, And so, I respect that, and I understand that, and I also understand the desperation right now to truly live in what you believe, whether you believe in a universal source or you believe in a God. Whatever you believe cannot be challenged by somebody else's opinion. And when you're solid in that, there is no wavering, and you can do amazing things in the world around us. And, on that note, Asher is an amazing healer. So, Asher, I know that you have a modality that can bring, down some anxieties and down some fears and increase someone's internal peacefulness and, just peace in general in the world. Because once we're peaceful, so we can share that peace. So I want to invite you to go ahead and give us an amazing technique that anybody's going to be able to use anywhere for their own internal peace.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. So there's a few of them I chose to teach you today. Something from the body talk. It's called cortices. We're going to tap. While we're tapping, we're going to breathe. So we have two hands. One hand's going to go to the back of your head, where you feel the bone is the base of your head, in the back.
Does it matter which hand? Left, right?
No.
Hand. Okay.
You choose one hand. With the other hand, you're going to tap. This one we're going to put it here. The tapping we're going to do, we're going to tap with the open hand in order so we can touch both sides of our head. Okay, right and left.
Can I
We're gonna
tap
tap-
Christopher's head?
Not yet.
not
We're
yet.
going to tap. We're going to hit.
No,
Not
no.
hitting. It's tapping. It's like the set. Okay, so we're going to tap here. We're going to tap here in chest
In our heart area.
and in our belly. Let's call it the belly. Okay?
Yeah.
Belly area. So we're going to go. You can do 5 tappings or 3 tappings, whatever it is. We're gonna do that's one round. Second round, then we're gonna move our hand a little bit higher. We're gonna do 2 rounds. We're gonna move then our hand to the top of our head, and
Okay.
we're still gonna tap 2 rounds, and then we're gonna go to the eyebrows, and after that we're gonna take a deep breath, and then let all the air go from your lungs and your stomach, everything out, and then we're gonna breathe again. Okay, that's gonna bring balance from your right and left side, and harmony also between head, heart, and stomach. So it means your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. And therefore, that's going to be transformed into your actions, balance in your actions also. Okay? So we're going to try to do this.
All right, amazing.
And Asher, just a question for a novice over here. When we are tapping, are our eyes closed? Are we breathing through our nose or our mouth? Does it matter?
This is not meditation. You don't have to close your eyes. Okay? When you breathe if you want from your nostrils, and when you blow out from your mouth.
Got
Okay?
it.
We can do
Thank
that.
you.
Okay? So let's do it. And once we make a round of tapping, that's a breathe. We finish that round, we throw everything. Okay? So let's go like this.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Hand on the back, and we start tapping. Start breathing. 3 taps on the head, chest, navel, belly. Again. We move our hands a little bit higher. Start tapping again. Again, tapping. Now your head goes in top of your head. Your hand goes in top of your head, and tap. Let's do it again. And let's now cover eyebrows like this, and tap again. Again. Let everything go out. So some people can feel a little bit like dizzy. Okay. You can start walk a little bit and come back. That's your body trying to make a balance between right and left. Okay. Our heart has a right and left also. It's also making a balance right now. Okay. So those are techniques. All our techniques of healing also, you have to think positive. Thinking positive is the main thing to bring light into your thoughts of darkness. So when you tap, just think positive. Bring love into you. Respect. And this is gonna probably change your day. God willing.
Yeah.
And I just have a quick question, because I
Yeah.
did feel a little bit of dizziness.
Well, we know
afterwards.
you're unbalanced.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm a little more imbalanced now, thanks to Asher. But is this technique intended to reduce anxiety, reduce stress, just balance us so we can be more
Fear.
kind
When
people?
when we're talking about healing, healing is not just to heal your hand or your head. It's integral. Your whole system is being put into balance. So this is making balance in all the parts that you're gonna need that balance. Okay? My recommendation, try it, please. 30 days. Do it in the mornings, at night, and see how it goes. See if you have more strength to wake up, to do things. You're more active. You are thinking positive, more positive. See what changes there.
I love that. And I'd love to hear if any of our listeners, if you did try it at home, write us on Facebook. Let us know how you liked it and if you made a difference. And I'm going to commit to 30 days, Tammy. Do 30 days, you might already be
Probably
doing it.
not.
Okay. Well, I'm going to. And if any of the listeners want to, any of our live audience wants to, join us for those 30 days. I'll be really curious to see what the results are.
We'll get an update from you every week on how
Yeah.
it's going.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I will check in.
Yeah. And I think you brought up an important point, Asher, about the power of thinking positively. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand that our thoughts and the way that we think not only creates everything within ourselves and around ourselves, but it is an energy. And so it not only affects us in the way we think, but it also affects the whole collective consciousness. So, you know, if there is more positive thinking in the world is going to be a more positive place. If there's more fears and anxieties in the world's going to be a more fearful and anxious place to be. So, you know, coming together as a human race to say, you know, this kind of just happened in this moment in my life, but how can I see it as a growth for myself? How can I see it as happening for my own good to help myself move forward? I think is an important thing to remember. And by the way, just the tapping isn't Jewish. The tapping's done all over the world by all different types of people. I'd be interested to know if they've learned the tapping techniques in the jungle, you know, because we don't have a lot of insight into the indigenous tribes in the jungle and what they actually, you know, use for meditation or,
Yeah.
you know, spirituality or techniques to help themselves and their community. But it'd be interesting to know.
Well, and
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead,
Huh?
Asher.
Okay, so about the tapping. Okay, two things I want to just, if I may say, about tapping. Once you're tapping, you're not hitting. You're sensibilizing.
Isn't that hitting the meridians?
You're not hitting. You're sensible.
Okay, tapping.
You were tapping too hard, Tammy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean
Yeah.
hitting
So,
in that
so
way.
just imagine. Okay, you love a child. Yeah, you go to him like this. You touch him gently. You're tapping. Touch. We have in our hands. We have the power. We have powers. Everyone is a healer. Everyone has powers in his hands to heal. You can damage someone, or you can love someone. So when you tap, use your hands to love yourself. Okay, that's one thing. And the other thing, tell me about thoughts. All religions believe there's a creator. In the Bible, the Torah, or whatever you want to call it, says that God created.
The
He
Quran.
spoke,
Yes.
he spoke, and he created. Speech is an expression of thought.
Right.
God did not create it with his hands, with his speech. That means his thought, his speech, and action. He was expressing himself through this action. So we have to understand that think positively is also talk positively. Sorry. Okay? When you think, you create. When you talk, you create. You create a reality in yourself and outside.
Exactly.
So we have to choose what to think and what to talk, because we're created in the image of God. We're partners in God with God in creation. So if we talk bad is going to happen. We think bad is going to come.
Yeah.
So we create the reality. And the reality, Tammy and Chris, and everyone that's hearing this conversation, reality, God created the world to give, to love, not to take, not to fight.
Yeah.
So we have to imitate that. We have to, you know what's enjoying life?
Right now,
And
right here, I'm enjoying being with Christopher,
the
being with
purpose.
you, and being with our whole audience.
Yes. Let live and let live. Be happy of our differences. Respect that someone is really different from you and love that. It's a Lego. If you want to build a wall and you put blocks one over the other, it could be a big wall, but you push it, it's gonna fall.
Yeah.
If you build a Lego wall, they're different, but they click in each other and become strong. Because differences are the purpose of creation is to that. Each one is going to give his thing. I'm different from you, but I give my best. You're different from me, but you give your best. And that's the way to build. That's the way to live. So we have to live and not to die
Yeah.
because I think I'm going to live after. We have to celebrate life.
Yeah, I agree. I've always seen people as a puzzle piece, and to put each unique piece in its place makes this beautiful puzzle. And so we're all unique because we bring a unique skill that only we possess to help the world around us.
There's no question about it. And, you know, today's been really interesting to me, just hearing not only Asher's thoughts. I know he doesn't speak necessarily for his whole religion, right? He's speaking for himself. But I love some of the views that you've shared with us that I either haven't heard or thought of or wasn't part of my religion growing up. But as you said, the differences that we have helped me to understand these principles better today. And so, I think you used the word celebrate those differences. And I think that's really my core message today, is that we need to celebrate these differences. They don't divide us. They should unite us.
Right.
Because I feel closer and more united to you, Asher, after having heard some of your thoughts and insights and wisdom than I did before, right? And I want to celebrate that. And my sincere hope and prayer is that with all the tumult going on in the world right now, that maybe we can see that we're more alike than we are different, and that we can see how beautiful those things that are different actually are, and that we can celebrate those and feel closer and spread that joy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I'm also hoping that people listened to what you had to say and said, you know, that's not that much different than the way I see things. I also believe in God or a universal source. I also believe that I'm here to do God's will or the universal will. I just do it a little bit different than maybe Asher does or maybe Christopher does, you know, and that's okay, because at the foundation of everything, I'm still doing the same thing that the universal source or God wants me to do, which is to learn how to be peaceful within myself, to learn how to help other people become peaceful, and to live in this amazing world we call Earth in a more peaceful, loving, kind way in general. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that you took the time to come on the show, have a conversation with Christopher and I and the rest of our listeners. And I hope that it, at least for a couple moments, you know, everybody was able to experience some peace and some understanding of why it's so important that us as a human race, as a population, as the people of the earth, really desperately need to come together to live a more peaceful world for our own sake, for the animals, for the nature, for the world in general, and because it's the universal's will that happen, and it's our jobs to make it happen.
No question. And you know, I tried to listen a lot more than speak today, because I think there's a lot of important things that I could learn, and I hope everybody else as well. And Asher, for anybody listening right now, in your work, is there anything you'd like to put out there so that they can maybe reach out or learn a little bit more about some of these techniques, And if there isn't, that's okay. But if you have something, I'd love for you to be able to share it with our listeners.
Well, thank you. I do few techniques. I try to focus more on the subconscious mind. Um, but anyone can do it. As I told you, we all have a healer inside. If you want to know more about that, you want to try a session, I'll be happy to help or to refer someone. I know a few techniques that I don't do, but I've heard of, and I can recommend for sure. I'm open to help anyone that needs some guidance on this.
So if someone wanted to do some sessions with you, how could they make that happen for themselves? How could they reach out?
How can they reach you?
Okay, so I'm here in Florida, Miami. We can do it personally, or we can do it by Zoom, or by phone, or even, you know, there's always
Telepathically. We can just do it telepathically.
Yeah, I've helped people that someone's in a meeting, says I cannot talk, but my head hurts. So he's go to the meeting, and we try to tap in his subconscious mind, and suddenly things somehow they get fixed and it works out.
So how would someone reach out to you?
Do you have a website, an
Yeah.
email, anything like that? Telephone number?
I'm the old style.
Smoke signals?
One of my fears is the technology.
The
Yeah.
So yes, but I have a phone, email. I'm developing right now my, this Instagram and all the things. Slowly, but it's gonna move on. But whoever wants to contact me by email, by phone, for sure.
All right.
All right, and we'll get
thank
that
you.
out there.
Yeah, we'll put that on our social media because I think it would be a benefit to many of you, as it has been to me. And once again, thank you so much, Asher, and love to you and your family and all the people in your community. Today we're just brought to you by LBC Law Group and Danny's Dynamics. Reach out to us on social media. We have more discussions similar to these coming up next week. Please send us questions to ourtruthmedia@gmail.com. We want to keep this important and obviously sensitive topic going. I think we have a lot that we can share and learn together. So thank you so much for listening, Asher. Thank you one more time.
Yep. And so I do want to do a little bit of a product review. Not so much product, though.
Oh, here we go.
But, we all have to take care of ourselves. And so I don't go to the dentist very often.
It's more of a shout-out, isn't it?
Yeah. It is definitely a shout-out. But my jaw was hurting a little bit, and I thought I had a cavity, so I had to go to the dentist and, kind of dread it. I didn't have a cavity, though, thank goodness.
Lucky you.
But I went to Radiant Smiles, and I was so impressed because, number one, the energy of everybody there was just so flowing and so peaceful and so happy. And I walked in the door, they didn't even know who I am, and they greeted me by my first name. And I observed that through everybody that came through their door. It was almost like a family member you actually like, and they're coming, and you're just so grateful that they're there. And it didn't matter if it was the front desk people, or it was the dental hygienist, or it was the dentist, or it was just the people that help out. Everybody was so kind and nice and loving that I just had to give them a shout out. Plus, the chairs were really super comfortable. And so the whole thing, made it a very, very pleasant experience. So
At the dentist,
at the
which
dentist,
is saying something.
Exactly. So, if you need a new dentist, or you've been hesitant to go to the dentist and something's kind of been bothering you, I completely and wholeheartedly am going to recommend Radiant Smiles, and they actually can be reached at 702-360-4800, and they do complete family dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, orthodontics, oral surgery and implants, denture services, and probably a whole lot more. And also they give loving kindness and peace and make the experience pretty amazing.
All right, I'm ending this because I'm hearing the drill and I've got phobia, so we are done. And by the way, that was a free shout out. She just really loves them, so
Yeah,
they must have done a hell of a job.
I was very impressed. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you again next week. And have a wonderful week. Spread that positivity,
Yep.
please.
Amazing. My truth, your truth, someone's truth.